national anthem played by the McGill-Toolen High School Band under the direction of Mr. David Pryor. By Reverend Robert Rhymes of the Society of Jesus, Director of Campus Ministry. Father Rhymes.
With the help of a very sensitive woman writer, I would like to offer this as a reflection of a graduate. They taught me here to want both roots and wings. Today, my longing to stay and my longing to go have come together, and I struggle. Suddenly, I see what happens when we fall into each other's lives. Our roots say, set up tent, be at home here on the hill. Our wings cry out, continue your journey. Keep dreaming of something beyond. When we love our friends, we have to let them go. It's the only way to keep them. And I do see the blessing of freely letting them go. It is grace, it is victory, it is as well terrible pain. And at last, I think I understand Paul. I live, yet it is not I, but all of you live in me. I never knew the body of Christ could be so intimate.
Please be seated. Distinguished members of the Board of Trustees, Most Reverend Archbishop, Most Reverend Bishops, Reverend Father President, members of the faculty, members of the graduating class of 1993, honored guests, parents, students, and friends, I declare this convocation, the 163rd Commencement of Spring Hill College, formally open. 3 distinctive senior awards will now be presented. The Toolen Award is presented to the graduating senior who has achieved the highest grade point average. This year, the award will be shared by 3 students, all of whom earned 4-point grade point averages, perfect straight A's, in their studies while at Spring Hill College. Please come to the platform when your name is called. Joy Banasak. John Jeffrey McAtee. Priscilla P. Milley. Graduates selected for the next two awards are recognized for their personal example as Christian leaders. The Allen Award, founded in 1928 by the Most Reverend Edward P. Allen, former Bishop of Mobile, is awarded to the male student who best exemplifies the attributes of a Christian gentleman. This year's recipient is Michael Hunt. The Senior Women's Award, given annually since 1957 to the senior woman who best exemplifies the ideals of a Christian woman, is awarded to Joan Bessman. The Edward B. Mooney, S.J. Teacher of the Year Award is presented annually to the professor who, in the judgment of a committee composed of a broad section of the academic community, has displayed excellence in the fulfillment of the teaching mission of the college. This year, the award is presented to Dr. Diane Thompson, Professor of Psychology. I would like to introduce the president of the graduating class, Mr. Andrew Forsdig, who will make a presentation on behalf of the class of 1993.
Father Rewak. The senior class of 1993 is happy to present to the college a new trophy case. This trophy case will be located in the Student Center, replacing a section of the lockers that are outside of the SGA office. We will also be making a donation to the Senior Class Handicap Accessibility Fund, which was established to help fund projects to make the campus more handicap accessible.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate it. Appreciate your work this past year, too. Thank you very much to the senior class. That's thoughtful and it is generous of you. And you will be long remembered for that. What I wanted to say to you as president, I said yesterday at the Baccalaureate Mass, and I won't add to that this morning. But I think it's important to say something here about the next step in our ceremonies, the conferring of the honorary degrees. Any college or university honors itself by honoring those who have achieved excellence in some field. And we honor you graduates today by conferring a bachelor's and a master's degree on you. And Spring Hill is honored by the work that you have done, by the people that you have become. This is also a traditional and appropriate time, therefore, to confer honorary degrees, to honor those who have achieved excellence in their life work. It's particularly appropriate to do so here because these honorees are presented to you as graduates, people who have lived and worked by discipline, as people who have taken advantage of their lives and their gifts to serve their neighbor. They deserve our recognition and they deserve your imitation. And they're people who have lived the ideals and the values of Spring Hill College. Will the Most Reverend Joseph Brunini please stand? The Most Reverend William R. Houck, Bishop of Jackson, Mississippi, will read the citation for Bishop Brunini.
You were born July 24th, 1909, into a loving, respected Roman Catholic family who shaped forever the path your life would take. Your studies at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., and the North American College in Rome preceded your ordination as a Roman Catholic priest in Rome on December 5th, 1933. Your service to God and to humanity spans nearly 8 decades. Your motto on your coat of arms reads, God and neighbor. You demonstrated this desire that we love God and neighbor through your civic involvement during the trying days of interracial friction in the 1960s. You have been a staunch defender of integration. You have been a proud advocate of Catholic schools. Your diligence and leadership helped to bring about the off-campus graduate theology programs at Spring Hill College. Your foresight and wisdom have been apparent in your awareness of the needs of the people of the Diocese of Natchez-Jackson and in your strength and vigor which led to the plan to create the Diocese of Biloxi in 1977. You are respected and beloved by all who you have touched. Therefore, Spring Hill College is pleased to bestow on you this day the degree of Doctor of Theology, honoris causa.
Will Celestine Sibley please stand? The citation for Celestine Sibley will be read by Dr. Varnell Lee, Chairman of the Division of Communication Arts.
You began your distinguished journalistic and literary career not far from Spring Hill College. A product of the schools of Mobile County, you chose to follow some enriching courses at Spring Hill, most notably a Shakespeare course. You were also then beginning your journalistic career at the Mobile Press Register. This career took you to Atlanta, where your work on the Constitution has gained for you the well-deserved reputation of a journalist of impeccable ethics, accuracy, fairness, and taste. You have been awarded, among many presentations, the Ralph McGill Award for Lifetime Achievement in Journalism. You have served twice as a juror for the Pulitzer Prizes for Newspaper Awards. In 1956, you were named Atlanta's Woman of the Year in Arts. You have won national recognition for your work in fiction. You have written novels and short stories, 18 volumes in all, which have been accurately recognized for their sensitive, tender understanding of human nature. Therefore, Spring Hill College, proud and happy to have played a part in your early formation, is pleased to bestow on you this day the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Will Georgie N. Geyer please stand? The citation for Georgie N. Geyer will be read by Dr. Nader Enazar, Chairman of the Division of Social Science. Immediately upon receiving her honorary degree, Ms. Geyer will address the class of '93.
You have delivered distinctive foreign commentary to the world for more than 27 years from an impressive variety of foreign fronts. Your reports have often been dispatched from volatile arenas of warfare and intense civil strife. Yet, you courageously fought these dangerous surroundings to present the truth through a woman's eyes. Your gift of intuition, combined with a voracious appetite for historical research and documentation of facts, distinguishes you above other foreign correspondents of the day. Your focus beneath the surface of events and your examination of root causes of revolution and political upheaval worldwide have given us the benefit of your deeper analyses of historic events. Your in-depth, intense style of questioning has opened doors for you to interview world figures such as Archbishop Oscar Romero and Anwar Sadat, and such controversial figures as Muammar Gaddafi and Fidel Castro, thus presenting us with the opportunity to make our own observations about the world most of us will never know firsthand. Your fervent desire for objectivity and integrity emerges from the pages of your numerous books and columns, and has brought you praise from your journalistic peers and respect and trust from your audiences. Therefore, Spring Hill College is pleased to bestow on you this day the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
I am tremendously honored. I can only imagine what you graduates are thinking, feeling, expecting at this quintessential moment of your lives. Perhaps you see a vast plain or tundra ahead of you, unmarked, mysterious, dangerous, endlessly enticing. Perhaps you already see or think you see the carefully crafted rooms of your life. Perhaps you aren't thinking at all. And of course, and of course, it is, if you think it is a confusing world out there, I can assure you it is a confusing world. The other day, for instance, I came across an actual correction in a fine paper, the Virginian Pilot newspaper, of a map that they had drawn and labeled of the world. Now they had to make a correction because they got a few things wrong. This is the correction. The map of Europe, Northern Africa, and the Arab nations published in Monday's editions contained the following errors. Libya was labeled as the Ukraine. Bulgaria and Romania were transposed. Bosnia-Herzegovina was identified as Bosnia. Montenegro should have been identified as a separate state bordering Serbia. Cyprus and the West Bank were not labeled. Andorra, a country between France and Spain, was not labeled. The Crimean Peninsula appeared twice on the Black Sea. Kuwait was not identified by name. Instead, the initials of the Knight Ridder news service were in its place. The map was supplied by a Knight Ridder and labeled by a Virginian Pilot staff artist. Now, I'm sure that having been educated by the Jesuits, you would not make such mistakes about the world. Actually, I want to tell you how very, very happy and honored I am to be with you today. I just came in from Washington yesterday. You know Washington, that's where a lot of people have delusions of adequacy. Now, sometimes it seems in Washington, even in this new administration, that little is happening on the surface. But when you look below the surface, nothing is happening. But, of course, you know, we have a new administration, a new president. We even have a new cat. Now, a cat, Socks, is very unhappy because he is kept on a leash. He doesn't like it. Cats don't like leashes. But at least it gives the White House press corps someone to identify with. Yes, President Clinton is having some problems. As Bob Dole said the other day, there's a big difference between running a nation and a small state. Because in a small state, when the chickens come home to roost, they're really chickens. But enough about the economy, as George Bush would have said. Now, actually, I was awfully happy to come here today and to be with you at this watershed moment in your lives. I wasn't really sure why the Jesuits had selected me. Then one of them told me that they knew that I had interviewed Khomeini, Castro, Gaddafi, Arafat, Perón, and Manuel Noriega. They thought I'd feel at home. Now, I'm not sure what they meant by that. But I do know that when I would come home from those trips, when I did interview those people, my beloved mother would say, "Dear, I hate to say this, but I really don't approve of the company you're keeping." But you know, I really do love the Jesuits. I've long admired their dedication to education, to knowing, to forming communities, minds in the world. Think of the great leaders they have formed: René Descartes, Blaise Pascal, James Joyce, Fidel Castro. Well, nobody's perfect. You know, there's an interesting story about Fidel Castro and his Jesuit training. When I was doing the interviewing for my book, I interviewed General Vernon Walters, one of our great diplomats and generals. And he'd been sent down to Havana to interview Castro and his people in 1982 for President Reagan to see if there was any change in attitude. And at the end of the long talk, General Walters, who was educated by the Jesuits and is a splendid man, said to Fidel, he said, "You know, we have something in common." And Fidel said, "What is that, General?" And he said, "We were both educated by the Jesuits." And Fidel said, "Yes, that's right." But General Walters then said, "But there is one big difference." And then there was the play on language, which you who speak Spanish will understand, but I will explain. General Walters said, "But there's a great difference, Fidel. Me quedé fidel. I remained faithful." And I thought that was a wonderful story. The Jesuits have personally influenced me a great deal in my life. There was a fine Belgian Jesuit in Latin America in the early days who was doing the social programs in Chile, Father Roger Beckemans. He's a dear friend of mine and still is, though we haven't seen each other. And one time when I was really desperate because I love Latin America and I could see all the dictators of the right and the dictators of the left coming in one after the other, and I hated all of the dictators regardless of creed or ideology. And I wrote to Father Roger, and he said, "Remember," he wrote these words back to me which really stayed with me. He said, "Remember, Gigi," that's my nickname. He said, "I am not responsible for the outcome, but I am responsible for my own fight." And those ladies and gentlemen, but particularly the students and graduates, those are the words that stay with me when I get depressed, when I see the world going in unspeakable ways. Father Rogers' words, because we can't be so arrogant that we think we are responsible for the outcome in the world, but we are tremendously responsible for our own fight. Since Archbishop Oscar Romero was mentioned here today, I would like to tell a little story about him. When I interviewed the Ayatollah Khomeini, I actually felt waves of evil coming out from him. And I don't usually go around feeling waves of evil around me. I really don't. But I did that day. When I interviewed Archbishop Oscar Romero in 1978 in Salvador, I felt waves of goodness. It was palpable. It was something you could feel. It was something I could see. I'll never forget it. And we had a wonderful talk, mostly about the tormented politics of Salvador of the time. And at one point I said something really stupid, and often stupid questions are the best, never avoid them, since you can't anyway. And I said, Your Eminence, wouldn't it have been easier for you not to have taken such a role, i.e. in social justice, and just stayed in the Archbishop's palace? And I'll never forget, he looked at me with a beautiful Indian brown skin, and he had his white robes on, and there was something spectacular about this very simple man, and he was a simple, good, very intelligent man. And he said, well, maybe I could have stayed in the Archbishop's palace, but that would not have been easier, would it? And again, those are very simple words, but they stay with me because it would not have been easier. It would have been the hardest thing in the world for him to have stayed in the Archbishop's palace and done nothing. Now, there are a few serious things I know about international politics. I'm going to touch on them very briefly today because it's easy for a commencement speaker to say, there's a whole new world ahead of you, graduates. Everything is different. What is something has never been before. But as a matter of fact, that's exactly what it is for you. The things that have happened in the last few years are simply unbelievable. Let me take number one, the end of the Cold War. I personally feel that we should have celebrated this much more. I think we were too gentlemanly and ladylike about it. This was an astonishing historic event. I stood in the square of East Berlin in front of the Rotes Rathaus, the Red Mayor's Palace, in 1989, 2 weeks before the wall came down, and saw 20,000 East Germans for the first time confront their communist leaders bombard them with questions about how many people they had destroyed. And then suddenly the crowd started to laugh at them and to deride them. And I thought, my God, it's all over, because dictators and tyrants can't stand laughter and derision. And it was all over. And when I left the square that day, and of course 2 weeks later I was coming back through Kennedy, and people grabbed me in Kennedy and they said, do you know what happened today? And I said, no, I was on a plane. They said, the wall came down in Berlin. And ladies and gentlemen, I thought, I am so lucky. I've been so blessed to have seen this. I lived my life for this year. Then I said to some of my friends, hey, let's enjoy it. Totalitarianism is dead. And it was a great fight, and we did it without a war. But that part is over now. There's still hard parts to come. And I see around me in my beloved country a lot of sort of dissatisfaction and unease because the end of the Cold War didn't solve problems. You see, we Americans suffered from a terrible utopian fallacy. It came with us with the Pilgrims. It stayed with us because we had this huge, beautiful continent that was protected. We think suddenly there's going to be an answer. No, it's not. I had a dear, beloved friend who died at 94 several years ago in Chicago, a lovely lady who was sort of the doyen of Chicago society in the best sense. And she told her daughter before she died, she said, you know, I wanted to live long enough to see how it would all turn out. And now I know it's not going to turn out. It's just going to keep going. So it's up, that's the way life is, students. It's not like a play. It's not a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's a dialectic. One thing is solved, the dialectic causes new problems to come. And those will be your problems to carry through on that. Second, a few words on the terrible things we're seeing about us every day in Yugoslavia. I could speak for hours, I'll speak for 1 minute. What I would like to say to you, all the things I could say to you, is to answer the question that many people have put to me since I've been covering that story for the last 4 years very intensively. I've been in the war zones, I've interviewed the leaders, etc. People ask me if these people could be doing such horrible things, aren't these horrible things inside everybody? Isn't this evil everywhere? And I say to them, and I say to you students, no, don't believe that. Analyze things. Analyze every situation according to its nature. Analyze its roots. I love that the saying that was quoted earlier about roots. I must get that for myself. But analyze things from their roots. Analyze how each thing is different. Above all, analyze the nature of each situation, and you'll never go wrong. Know history. If you know what happened in Yugoslavia, you know that this did not bubble up out of the people. The capacity is always there, yes, but it was orchestrated for 7 years by these evil leaders such as Slobodan Milosevic and several others. It was orchestrated. The people were fanaticized. They were trained to do this. In countries like Bulgaria, which could have had the same situation because of good leadership, because of democratic leadership, it did not happen. There are many things I could say, but that's a point that I really want to make to young people. Now we get to you, and to what, if anything, I have to say to you as someone who looks at you with great affection and sentiment, and wishing that it were also a June day in 1956 at Northwestern, and I was sitting in your seat, and you were giving the commencement address. What will it be that you will see in the world? And what can I say to you? Really, there's only one thing I can say to you, and it's what I would say to all young people, and it's very simple, and it's follow what you love. And if you say to me, well, Ms. Geyer, Gigi, Georgianne, I don't know what I love. I said, well, then give it some time and experiment. We don't all know right away. When I went to the newspaper, the Chicago Daily News in 1959, I wasn't sure I wanted to be a journalist, but by doing, you find that out. The important thing is not to be sidetracked by what I would say, and the Jesuits will forgive me, I hope, by heretical desires. And I consider pure ambition to be heretical to what you love to do. In my work, I don't know where my work starts and my personal life begins. It's all one whole. And I find that very, very beautiful. I was talking to some young ladies at a beautiful girls' school in the Midwest recently, and they were saying, Ms. Geyer, what are they looking for out there? And at first I didn't get it. I didn't understand what they meant, and I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, what are they looking for in jobs? What should we be? And I said, hey, wait a minute, you got it all wrong. It's not what they're looking for. It's what you have inside yourself to express. It's what you want to accomplish in life. Find that out, and you will be the most blessed person on earth, and you will find your place. That's really all I have to say. And something else. Be an I and not a me. I think there are two types of Americans, perhaps two types of people. I is subjective. I acts, takes responsibilities for his or her acts. I relates to institutions to preserve culture, values, morality at the service of some higher good. Me is objective, imprecise, acted upon without inner principles. Me is externally oriented to values that change from moment to moment. Me cares not with institutions with values, but with the bureaucracy whose values are basically keeping them in power. People always ask me, why are foreign correspondents so goofily happy? Because we are. We see wars and revolutions and terrible things, and we don't take them lightly at all. I'm not saying that. But we are basically happy, joyous people. And I would say spiritual people. And I thought about this for a long time, and I think it's because we don't live vicariously. Because we are living very directly. We are seeing things before us. We are living directly. And that can be done on any level of human society. It can be done in public life. It can be done in service to institutions. It can be be done as a priest, it can be done as a rabbi or a minister, it can be done as a mother or a father. It's not the place where you are, but the things, the inner beliefs and faiths and will that you bring to those places. I'm very happy to be here today. I am deeply honored. I salute all of you graduates. I salute the mothers particularly today and share with you the joy that my own mother brought to me. But in closing, I want to say that I think the greatest gift you could get, and a gift that I know you have received from this college and from the wonderful people who have influenced you, is to keep your soul in balance, in order, in harmony. Recently, I came upon a wonderful story about the Bushmen of Africa in a book called Songlines by Bruce Chapman. And he writes about a man who has the Bushmen carrying things for him through the woods, through the jungles and deserts. And this is from the book. A Bushman said, suddenly the Bushmen sit down and they won't go any further. So a white explorer in Africa, anxious to press ahead with his journey, paid his porters for a series of forced marches. But they, almost within reach of their destination, sat down their bundles and refused to budge. No amount of extra payment would convince them otherwise. They said they had to wait for their souls to catch up. Now those are very wise men. And so on this wonderful day, I wish you one last wish. May your souls always stay with you, and when you slip and you get ahead of them, may you have the wisdom of the Bushmen to stop, sit down against all perorations, and wait for them to catch up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Geyer. We'll now proceed with the conferral of degrees. Will the candidates for the master's degree please stand? Reverend Father President, I have the honor of presenting to you candidates for the Master of Theological Studies degree, the Master of Arts degree, the Master of Arts and Teaching degree, the Master of Science and Education degree, and the Master of Business Administration degree. They have been duly examined and recommended by the faculty and approved by the corporation.
We, the president and faculty of Spring Hill College, empowered by the sovereign state of Alabama to confer degrees in all departments of the arts and sciences, hereby invest these candidates with all the rights and privileges pertaining to these degrees.
The candidate's got to come right through here. The candidate's going to come right through here. You're going to have to back up or something.
The graduates may sit until the row is called by the Marshal to come forward. I request the audience to hold all applause until all master's degrees have been awarded. Dr. Barbara Nolan, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, will present the graduate students. Dr. Nolan.
The Master of Theological Studies graduates advance Margaret H. Boxa, in absentia, Loretta Joan Bedner, Joseph Eckford Brown Jr., in absentia, Kay McCorkle Farrell, S. Richard Fries, in absentia, Mary Catherine George, William Aloysius Golden, Rebecca B. Great, Mary Angela Helmsing, Patricia M. Hill, Mary Dina Hoodoo, Roberta B. Shirk, Anna Joan Shockley, Patricia Collins Warren in absentia. Let the Master of Arts graduates advance. Deborah Madonia, Hugh R. Muller, let the Master of Arts in Teaching graduates advance. Deborah D. Bonds, Julianne F. Chambliss, Robin J. Chandler, Allison Faye Christopher, Suzette Maureen Day, Michelle Dubose, Jean Beck Dudley, Lucy Hunter Duffy, Maureen Glavey Goodwin, Carrie S. Griffin in absentia, Stephen L. Hatfield, Wendy Brown Hayes, Terry Lee Howell, Kendall Ingram Hurley,
Two more.
Ann Kilpatrick Leatherberry, Kelly E. Lomax, Carrie Ann McShane,
You missed that one.
Felicia Mills, Betty Jean Miles, Renee DeVille Nelson, Blair A. Newman, Deanna Whip Newton, Dina Ann Tassett, Mary Bennett Philpott, Valerie Powell, Lori M. Redditt, George W. Schley, Jane Samuel Siegel, Eugenia T. Sullivan, Tracy Ann Sullivan in absentia, Hugh Edward Tomlin, Donald L. Bester, Paulette Walsh, John P. B. Weinecker, David L. Wilhelm. Let the Master of Science graduates advance. Esther Lindsay Baker Dillon in absentia. Graciela Armendariz Harris. Barbara Lewis Mitchell in absentia. Margaret Renee Wood Peterson. Let the Master of Business Administration graduates advance. Darrell L. Butters. Mary Suzanne Carullo. Susan Cooper.
Change up there, Rob.
Jeff D. Larry.
Well, I hold up the sign, slow down. I want to change one early, because it looks like he's changing it.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree please stand? Reverend Father President, I have the honor of presenting you candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree and the degree of Bachelor of Science. They have been duly examined and recommended by the faculty and approved by the corporation.
We, the President and faculty of Springfield College, in the color of the sovereign state of Alabama, to confer degrees in all departments of the arts and sciences, hereby invest these candidates with all the rights and privileges pertaining to these degrees.
The graduates may sit until their row is called by the Marshal to come forward. I request that the audience hold all applause until after all degrees have been awarded.
Let the Bachelor of Arts candidates advance. Robert N. Andrew Jr., Paul Christopher Baldwin, Joy Banashek, summa cum laude, Anne Kathleen Barkowski, Susan Renee Berberich, Lori Ann Bergeron, Joan Celeste Bessman, cum laude, Paul David Bottomer, Charles Anderson Butler III, Jennifer A. Buttry, William Christopher Cashin, Gaetano Vincenzo Commerci, Bradley S. Copenhaver, Amy Suzanne Cornelius, David Anthony Cresson, Cara Cruz, Patrick K. Culhane, F. Gerald DeSalvo Jr., Keely Rochelle De Niro, Claude Matthew Dukes, Elizabeth Ann Dunn, Tammy Denise Edwards, Joe W. English Jr., magna cum laude,
Two more after this one.
Christopher Michael Fowler, Anthony Robert French, summa cum laude, Deborah Ann Garreau, magna cum laude, Narpati Bunpradab Gray, cum laude, Daniel S. Green, Amy F. Cardigan, Teresa Dawn Hatch, cum laude, Shantae C. Stone Hendricks, Brooke Ashley Huddleston, Leslie Francis Johnston, cum laude, Valerie Lee Canale, Eric Paul King in absentia, Christopher Charles Knock, Alyssa Landers, Douglas J. Lehman, Stacy Elizabeth McAdams, Kevin Edward McDaniel, Stacy Elizabeth Meyer in absentia, Priscilla P. Milling, cum laude, James Christopher Mitchell. Claude S. Mumphrey II. Guillermo de Borja Narvacan IV. Luann Parks. Richard Craig Patrick, cum laude. John Wesley Phillips Jr., cum laude. Maria Mercedes Picardi. Marlo Ann Elizabeth Petrak. Stacy Marie Hoff, cum laude. Benjamin David Putman, magna cum laude. Johanna Griffin Regnery. Eric Randolph Robbins. Katie Ellen Shockley. Christy Lynn Saab. Ashley L. Stewart. Christina Marie Tolbert. Philip M. Craner III. Alan Austin Bowler. Lisa Turner Williams. Wendy Ann Wolpert. Jason A. Wood. Let the Bachelor of Science graduates advance. Stephen Johnson Ashay in absentia. Christopher Scott Amador in absentia. Dante Antonio Amadeo in absentia. Christina Marie Astilia in absentia. Christopher Denton Baker. Edward Bello, magna cum laude. Cheryl Ann Blanks. James M. Booker, cum laude. Amy Marie Jackson Brookshire, magna cum laude. Margaret Harmon Bryson, cum laude. Cynthia Ann Bullard, cum laude. Regina Burke. William Carricker II. Janice Smith Cassidy.
Two more on.
Jennifer Danielle Casales. Michelle Renee Cheney. John Joseph Christoph Jr. Sandra Revere Clark. Anne Marie Conquest, cum laude. Jorge A. Coronel, magna cum laude.
Way to go, Georgie!
Chester S. Kosar. Catherine S. Cox.
It might, I don't know.
William Patrick Coxwell, cum laude. Ruth L. Crawford in absentia. Lisa Gail Doxa. Elizabeth Lee Davis. Anne Elizabeth Dawson, cum laude. David Kirk DePriest. John George DeRusi Jr. Kendra Hope Devon. Carrie Emma Dosher. Wendy Elizabeth Duckworth. Natasha M. Duncan, cum laude. Matthew H. Etheridge. Kelly M. Fiedler. Mary Trinita Fink, magna cum laude. Amy A. Fisher. Susan Flory. Amy Elizabeth Ford.
All right, Amy! Yeah!
Two more, right?
Yeah!
John Ford.
Well, you're gonna walk, so I'm gonna jump. You gonna go that side? Yeah.
Michael Andrew Forstick.
Yeah, ain't over.
Lori M. Franklin. Patrick J. Frenzel. Kathleen M. Gilbert, cum laude. Jean Marie Gleason. Maurice F. Glorioso, magna cum laude. Emma Grace. Charlotte M. Griesbeck. Kristen Louise Gully, magna cum laude. Gregory H. Gunther. Tanya Gupta. Paul Lawrence Hartman. Woody J. Hodges Jr. Francis Hoyt Hollinger, magna cum laude. Amy Ellison Holt. Mary E. Hopkins. James L. Hubers Jr. Michael Oliver Hunt, cum laude.
Jim Hubert, which one did you get?
Scott Michael Imorde, magna cum laude. Latanya James. Elizabeth Ann Johnson, cum laude.
Two more, Robert.
Linda White
Last one
Jones.
coming up.
Bradley James Kelly. Carmen Louise Kemp, magna cum laude.
Give me some
Christina
biscuit.
Hickler, summa cum laude. Chase Kirkwood. James Nick Cordomenos. R. Christian Lacrance. Frank Paul Lamana Jr. Christopher A. Lambert. Jerome Craig LeBlanc Jr. Martha R. Lee in absentia. Larry M. Lenning. Brian Christopher Lewis, magna cum laude. Leanne Lindsay. Lisa Marie Labudio. Alexander A. Lynch, John P. Markins III, Nicole Marie Martin, magna cum laude, Tara Judith Mastromodico, Monica M. Mayo, John Jeffrey McAtee, summa cum laude, Benjamin F. Midget Jr., John Allen Miller, Melissa B. Morris, Francis C. Mounier, Diane Robinson Muscat, Christopher R. Naiman, Na T. Wynn, Suzanne Marie Novi, Robert E. O'Regan, Ashley Lynn Odom, Zoe M. Ollinger, cum laude, Yaroslav Odenhall, Lisa Michelle Pagano, Sonia Janelle Hassett, Amy Danielle Poe, Deborah Toulouse Porter, Lisa Andrea Risico, Bradshaw B. Roberts, magna cum laude, Donna Michelle Robinson, Sean Allen Rowe, Gina Elizabeth Rowland, Valerie Rogers Ross-Cluck, cum laude, David Lee Russell, cum laude, Susan Elizabeth Schlesinger, Meredith Beer Schmidt, Johnny T. Scruggs, Catherine Renee Seeley, Linda Sue Sides, Betsy Simpson,
One more round.
Gregory J. Simpson, Michael Jeffrey Singleton Jr., Henry Franklin Soul Jr., Ava Jovan Stewart, Gwendolyn Gloria Tufralis, Marie Elise Talbot, Phyllis Tate,
Should be close to the end, isn't
cum
it?
laude, Meredith W. Turney, Patrick J. Thielen, Stephen Peter Thiele, Maggie A. Hoplesek, Mark Robert Trexler, Eleni Panayota Chalka,
Wait a minute.
Sandra A. Tate, cum laude, John B. Hewitt, Jr.,
I might be able to get him.
Tristan Wade Turner, Adrian Victor Villacorta, Peter Andrew Rukulich, Gregory Joseph Walsh, James Patrick Walsh, John Dominic Wheaton, Ashley Ann Williams, Robert K. Wilson, Sean K. Wright, Joseph Anthony Sarzer, Jr., Margaret Anita Zimlick, magna cum laude, Let the Certificate of Theology Studies advance, Rosemary R. Galliano.
Mr. Scott Imorde, Orator of the class of 1993, will deliver the farewell address. Mr. Imorde.
Most Reverend Archbishop Lipscomb, Reverend Bishops Houck and Brunini, Reverend Father President, classmates, faculty, friends, and parents. I can vividly recall the first time I saw these great oaks on this unforgettable avenue. It was alumni weekend, and I was 15 years old, driving with my father, a 1961 Spring Hill College graduate. As we passed underneath the protective arms of these majestic trees, I can remember my father speaking of fond memories, past teachers, and old friends. Again and again, he referred to these recollections as part of the Spring Hill experience. I heard the words he spoke, but I did not fully understand their meaning. In fact, I wondered, what is the Spring Hill experience? Today, I stand before you, my fellow classmates and friends at Spring Hill College, on this same avenue, sheltered by the same oak trees which caught my eye and my curiosity some 7 years ago. The difference is that today, I've had the fortunate opportunity of receiving, and more importantly, completing my own Spring Hill experience. Today, we gather here to honor and celebrate not only being graduates of Spring Hill College, but graduating with the Spring Hill experience as well. Yet I feel our Spring Hill experience continues on after today. It is a lifelong affair of reminiscing, coming back for alumni weekends, and even giving money, I should say. The past couple of weeks have definitely been some of the most hectic and busy weeks at Spring Hill. Senior seminars, class presentations, and final exams, coupled with interviews and graduate school applications, have been occupying most of our time and our thoughts. Just when I thought my last paper was turned in and my last class was skipped, I received yet another assignment. The opportunity and honor of delivering the valedictory address for the graduating class of 1993. I say the word for and not to because I feel I am simply a mouthpiece for the feelings, reflections, and pride that we, the graduates, are experiencing at this special and important juncture in our young lives. The first thought which ran through my mind upon learning of my selection and task as the senior class orator was, why me? I knew that I was not the most intellectual student in the classroom. I also recognized or conceded that I was not the most popular person or stud on campus, or even, for that matter, the most gifted athlete on the playing fields. Yet as I pondered further, I realized I was an outgrowth of these three features of Spring Hill. It dawned on me that what makes this institution so special, so distinctive, is that one can succeed and grow intellectually, socially, athletically, and spiritually, all at the same time. For Spring Hill is conducive to developing a complete person, not just a rocket scientist or a jock. I realize this is what makes Spring Hill so unique. This is what characterizes the time-honored Spring Hill experience I had heard so much about. So I go back to my original question. What is this Spring Hill experience? What makes it so memorable and satisfying? From that first day in August 1989, we were told at orientation to get ready to take part in the Spring Hill experience. But even then, we were unsure of ourselves. We were 18 years old and just happy to be away from the nagging of our parents. We were free. There were no curfews to abide by or rooms we had to clean. We were simply ready for a ride of a lifetime. Hopefully, everyone graduating here today received that ride and a fantastic education as well. For I can assure you that I learned as much outside of Quinlan Hall as I did inside of it. Hopefully, everyone graduating here today can appreciate the inherent goodness at Spring Hill, the things Spring Hill has done right instead of wrong. Although the Spring Hill experience will be different for each and every one of us, there are certain characteristics which make it special and valuable. I would like to point out these traits today, and at the same time allow my classmates to take a short but meaningful trip down memory lane, or Memory Avenue, as the case may be. After 4 years, so much has happened. I do not know exactly how to begin to define the Spring Hill experience. To help me in my task in the past weeks, I've asked several of my peers and friends. For at Spring Hill, they are usually one and the same. I asked one simple question. What do you remember most about Spring Hill? Many of them simply took a step back, a blank look covering their faces, and responded, "You know, Scott, that is a great question." I do not think we will look back on our college years and remember just one incident, one teacher, or even one party. The Spring Hill experience has filled us with many great memories, useful knowledge, and occasionally one too many beers at such great establishments as the Downer and the Hole. One word, though, that seems to characterize many of the answers I heard was tradition. There are certain things at Spring Hill which continue to live on, despite the winds and changes that the passage of time brings about. It seems there will always be security giving out tickets, Marriott Steak Night, campus Mardi Gras, late night excursions through the tunnels, charging Christmas presents in the bookstore, false fire alarms, or even an occasional round of night golf. There will always be waiting to the last night to write your term paper or getting lost in the library stacks. Traditions like these are numerous and help define and describe the Spring Hill experience. Another word which describes Spring Hill is family. It seems there will always be Kathy in the bookstore, Leola in the mailroom, Reggie in the cloister, Henry in the hallways, and Chief in the garbage cans at 3 in the morning. I'm still not exactly sure what he's looking for. The Spring Hill experience allows students to get to know their professors as well, have lunch with them in the cafeteria, or even play 9 holes of golf with them after classes. Our teachers know our names, our idiosyncrasies, and even our handwriting in some cases. Our professors are more than simply employed by the college. They are part of the Spring Hill family, challenged with the task of educating our young minds, a task which they embrace with great enthusiasm and creativity. This almost parental relationship creates an ideal atmosphere for learning and has prepared us for the real world, which we now face. And for that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the faculty on behalf of the class of '93. Spring Hill truly does have a family atmosphere, a place where everyone can find their own niche and make an impact if they so choose. There is no other school where over 80% of the students study together, eat together, and party together, though not necessarily in that order. Spring Hill is small, and this is good. Spring Hill is family, and now some 220 seniors are saying goodbye to the friends and faculty, to the Spring Hill family they have grown so close to. For several years now, most of us have enjoyed these traditions and our Spring Hill family. Yet we have done so without becoming stagnant. Each year, Spring Hill and its students go through a process of growth and change, a process of living and learning, of laughing and crying, of experiencing all that we can in our short time here. As freshmen, we could take off to the beach or New Orleans late at night and come back just in time for our 8:20. 4 years later, we find ourselves thinking twice about such road trips. We still may go, but at least we think twice. The college itself is a dynamic institution which embraces progress and change as necessary conditions for success. We have the newly renovated Uni Hall, which has breathed new life into the business department and the business curricula. The Student Government Association is working for the students and with the students by taking a larger role in improving the Spring Hill community. Our basketball team has won districts 2 years in a row. I will never forget students, faculty, and administration coming together in the cafeteria to watch the Badgers play on television in the NAIA National Tournament. The sight of Dean Cable and Dr. Johnson arguing with the referees on the screen is quite a sight, I assure you. And along with the baseball team's recent successes, there are even plans for a Spring Hill Recreation Center. These are but a few of the achievements that have taken place in our 4 years here. Needless to say, the future looks bright for Spring Hill College. There, I finally said the word that is on everyone's mind lately, the future. Now that we have graduated, what are we to do with our lives? What does the future hold for the class of 1993? Well, I think the future looks bright for Spring Hill graduates. I feel Spring Hill's put us on the right path towards success. Fellow graduates, we have been blessed in so many ways. With support from our parents and friends, good health, and strong, ambitious minds, we were able to receive a college degree in hopes of attaining the good life. But more importantly, we now have the opportunity to make a positive impact on the world around us. We now have the tools to help fix the world and all of its problems. We have the chance to attack the suffering and discrimination evident in our cities, states, and countries. We have the ability, as Spring Hill graduates, to bring more good into the world and to eliminate some of the bad. It is our duty, as our Jesuit education has taught us, to conduct our lives in such a way. At Spring Hill, we were taught to question and to think, to formulate our own ideas, and to defend them. Our Spring Hill experience is not yet over. As we embark on our future endeavors, whether it be our careers or our families, remember the ideals and the knowledge that the Spring Hill experience has provided. I can think of no better goal today, to set today, on this Avenue of the Oaks, the symbol of our accomplishments and our farewell, than to use our Spring Hill experience to become the most complete, contributing, and helpful persons that we can be. Good luck to you all. May God bless you, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Scott. In recognition of your selection as the senior class orator, the class of 1993 wishes to present this commemorative award to you. At this time, I would like to ask the Most Reverend Oscar H. Lipscomb, Archbishop of Mobile, to extend his greetings to today's graduates. Archbishop Lipscomb, please.
My dear friends, as I sat on the stage in this much-loved spot and most revered and watched those receiving honorary degrees obtain their hoods, I recalled an incident that I would just like to mention in the year of her death for Miss Helen Hayes. She was here, if you remember, for the inauguration of the presidency of Father Rewak, and I sat next to her. This is to let you know, at the end of the story, how your life will take strange twists, and you will be remembered for remarkable things and put them in your own life history and curriculum vitae. As she sat down, I noticed that Miss Hayes did not have her hood buttoned in the back. This makes it awkward. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, it kept slipping down over her shoulder. So I said to her, Miss Hayes, if you will just turn a little so I can reach the button in the back, I will arrange that hood for you. Thank you, Archbishop, she said. It is kind of awkward. So she did, and I did. She turned back around, squared her shoulders, looked at me and said, that is ever so much better. You know, in all my years in the theater, I've never had so distinguished a dresser. And I responded, when they bury me down with my predecessors in the cathedral crypt, on my stone it will read, priest, bishop, and sometime dresser to Helen Hayes. So much has been said, and I will not add to it, except maybe to give you one insight to hang on to an empowerment for all the things that everyone has said, even your own class orator in the most powerful way has said, constitute the Spring Hill experience and what lies ahead for you. Some of you will hear this, perhaps, in the not too distant future as part of a wedding ceremony. It came to me earlier this year when I heard these words from St. Paul in his first epistle to the Corinthians, and always we apply them to the bride and the groom, to our need to love each other. And it suddenly dawned on me, St. Paul was not talking just about our love for each other. He was talking about God's love for us. Think of them in that light now as you go through life, if ever you doubt that you are loved and cherished. Because it is God's love for you that is patient, kind. It is not jealous. It is not snobbish. It does not put on airs. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It does not brood over injuries. It is not prone to anger. His love does not rejoices with what is wrong, but rejoices in the right. That kind of love is full of forbearance. It has patience. It is trusting. It is the kind of love that endures. That kind of love for you never fails. And if you're aware of that, neither will yours. God bless you.
Thank you, Archbishop Lipscomb. The benediction will be given by the Reverend Christopher Viscardi of the Society of Jesus, Rector of the Jesuit Community. Please stand.
The spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius of Loyola conclude with the contemplation to attain the love of God. Let us conclude this ceremony in these years at Spring Hill with the same prayer, asking for an intimate knowledge of the many blessings received in these years of life with one another and with God, so that we may be filled with gratitude for all, and may in all things love and serve the divine majesty. Let us consider with great affection all blessings and gifts as descending from above, as the rays of light descend from the sun, and as the waters flow from their fountains. And let us go forth in humility and joy, with grateful and generous hearts, trusting always in the infinite mystery of our God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Before declaring the exercises of this convocation closed, I ask that the audience remain in place until the faculty and graduates have departed. I invite all to refreshments to be served in front of the library. I wish to thank all the members of the McGill-Tulane High School Band and their director, Mr. David Pryor, for helping make this, our 163rd graduation ceremony, a success. I also request that the graduates proceed immediately to the steps of the library where the class picture will be taken. To close this convocation, I ask all to sing the Spring Hill Alma Mater. The words are contained in your program.
Like a torch upon a hilltop, flaming in the night, that the Lord of heaven ever blazing forth the light. Raise your voices, sing the praises, fill and forest fill.
That's it. Maria!
Right here, Johnny. In the middle. Right in the middle on the second
Even with the white brick, it's going to be a laptop brick.
Can we go back in again? Watch out. Okay.
Everybody look up here. Keep your hats on, okay? Keep your hats on right now. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Y'all keep looking up here. Everybody look here. Count of 3. 1. On the count of 3, y'all throw them up in there. 1, 2, 3.
I was right in the front, right in the middle.
Yeah, I saw you there.
It's weird, man. You got it next week, man. That's weird.